Friday. I am once again at the Athenaeum. We are recording Mariana Lourens, Art and Entertainment. Ja, dit is Mariana Lourens met kuns en vermaak. En ek het so lekker program vir jou vandag, want ek praat met twee absoluut wonderlike manne. Two amazing guys, young guys. They like my children, my grandchildren. I love them so much. I've come a long way with them. But before we do that, I want to just remind you that for all your fancy dressing up requirements, you can still call Rose at 072-906-1977. Yeah, because you need to make an appointment. You know, perhaps you are not having that many fancy dress parties right now, but I'm not sure, because I think people are actually, I see they're getting married and they're doing all sorts of stuff in numbers. At least you are allowed a certain number. So you can have a fancy dress party, but for that special photo shoot or the family picture and you want to dress up, stepping out, it's opposite the Provincial Hospital, 6 Buckingham Road, and Rose's phone number 072-906-1977. So do make an appointment, maak asseblief daai afspraak, sy sit nie daar vir jou en wag nie. And then PE Industry Night, of course, is a good chance to reconnect, to recharge, to reach out with GNS at the Savoy. If you're a theatre maker, an actor, a playwright, a director, a technician, a vocal director, choreographer, a good financier even to help with the plans, the money plan. What do I want to say? What is a financial plan? Financial plans, right? I've got some guys here who even know about, I know them from something different. They can also know how to sort out your finances, I think. I hope, yeah. There'll be Monday evening, monthly, every first Monday, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Savoy Theatre. It's a free entry, there's a cash bar, and there will be some food for sale. You will need to phone Kaylin, or WhatsApp her rather, don't phone her, WhatsApp Kaylin on 071 076 0980. Let me say that again, 071 076 0980. Ja, vir al die mense wat 'n passie het vir die teater en alles wat daar aangaan, of jy nou agter die gordyne is, agter die skerms, of jy nou voor op die verhoog is, of jy wil dalk 'n drama regisseur wees, of jy wil 'n vocal director, of jy is dalk ene. Ons het jou baie nodig daarso. En soos ek gesê het, die finansies, as jy dalk 'n baie sterk finansieer is, dan kan jy ook jou gewig ingooi. Dis elke eerste maandag van die maand, en jy kan vir Kaylin WhatsApp by 071 076 0980. Dis van 6 tot 9 elke maandag aand, en dit is by die Savoy Theater. Ek gee net gou weer Kaylin se nommer, 071 076 0980. En dan ook bly ons by die Savoy, want daar's lekker open mic evening. Dit gaan goed, hulle sê dit gaan lekker goed. Anything Goes Sundays noem hulle dit. En dit is by die Savoy elke Sondag van 1 uur tot 6 uur. So 'n lekker lang stretch. Daar's the V-bar by die Savoy Theater. 'n cash bar en kossies is ook beskikbaar. En dis ook gratis om te gaan. Gaan geniet jouself net, koop 'n lekker ligte maaltydjie om te eet en drink dingetjie. En wees net daar om 1 uur op 'n Sondag. Anything Goes Sundays by die Savoy. Yes, at the Savoy, Anything Goes Sundays from 1 to 6 in the afternoon every Sunday. TV bar, Savoy Theatre, cash bar, food available, entry free, off-street parking. That's quite an important thing, off-street parking. And then I just want to remind you, Rina Dippenaar, she's still doing her lessons in piano, flute, recorder, guitar, music theory, and Afrikaans. And you can call her on 083-398-5198. She does online or face-to-face, of course, with your mask on. You can contact her. She's been a teacher for 28 years. Yes, Rina Dippenaar, sy is 'n onnie, sy gee klavierlesse, fluit, recorder, gitaar, musiek in teorie en Afrikaans. Bel haar gerus by 083 398 5196. Sy kan jou gesig tot gesig met 'n masker aan, dink ek, hou jou distansie, of jy kan online julle klasse kry by haar. En dan is daar gou net vinnig Artek vir kinders, elke Vrydag, kinders van 7 tot 15 jaar oud, op 'n Vrydag 2:30 tot 3:30. Vir meer inligting, skakel asseblief 041 585 3641 en dit is natuurlik kantoorure. Dit is by Artek, dis in Beurtstraat in Sentraal en dit is Kids Club. Artek Kids Club. Yes, Artek Kids Club there. Drawing, painting and craft for children 7 to 15 years. Please book because there is only 15 participants can be accommodated. A minimum fee of R5 per child a session. So that is very affordable. Book in your child. Please call during office hours 041 585 3641. Or you can just go to Artek Gallery, as it is, ARTEC Gallery @gmail.com, and you can communicate that way. It's number 30 Bird Street, as I said, something for your child to do, because I believe there's another holiday starting in a few days' time, children's holiday. And now I am with my guests. On my right, I have Mr. Gerald Peterson. I know Gerald from Toastmasters.
That's correct.
That's how we met. Hello, Gerald.
Hello, Mariana.
And apart from being a member of Toastmasters and an eloquent speaker anyway, he also does lots of other things, consulting in business and blah, 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 all stuff that busy blonde grannies know nothing about. And I will definitely go to him if I need that kind of advice. You just wrote a book, and is this about business?
So, Mariana, I recently completed the book. It's called Goalposts, and it deals with...
Is it goalpost or goalposts?
Goalposts, many posts.
Goalposts.
Yes. And I think it's interesting because I'm reminded of Amandla will speak just now of what he said at the Toastmasters contest on Saturday. That sometimes we find that we have so many things that we want to do. We start doing it, but we never get to finishing it. So the whole idea behind the book is to navigate through that process of setting goals and then eventually finding ways to achieve those goals.
So it's all about setting goals, deciding. Of course, deciding is a big factor.
So I think deciding, the one thing that I also address in the book is that your goal is part of who you are. Because you would never find that you want to do something if it doesn't naturally come to mind. There will always be that level of resistance and self-doubt and all of that. But it's that little tingling in your chest. It's not heartburn or indigestion. It's actually just that sensation, that passion that keeps you going. Or at times that leaves you confused if you're not able to know which direction to go into.
In your book you address...
So firstly from a personal perspective and also reflective in a sense of what I've experienced, what I've learned, and what I've done to achieve most of my top goals, which is either in the field of studies or starting a first and a second business.
Okay,
so
fine.
I kind of think I am qualified to
I think
speak
you're
about
kind of qualified about
just
it.
kind of.
You've been in business a few years.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to you. And I've also got Amandla Didiza, my grandchild. Amandla, I know you through Toastmasters as well, but we go back even further, even longer back, because you were still at university.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what year it was.
It was, I think, 2013.
2013,
Yeah.
so it is a good
It's a long
8 years
time.
ago.
Yeah.
I've known you for more than 8 years.
Yeah.
It used to be UPE, of course, then it became NMU, and then it became NMU.
Yeah.
So it's
It's been quite a number of changes.
It's been
there.
a number of changes there. I'm looking at a photo here of you holding a NMMU award. Obviously, you are one of those little thingies they put on this big board, this beautiful board. It says Development Society of the Year. So tell us more about that, because they didn't put a year, because of course the year is too small to see on this gold little thingy that they put there.
So that is part of what they used to call the Achievers Awards at the university. It was in 2014, and coincidentally enough, I was the chairperson of Toastmasters at the time. And there's a lot of work that we did through the assistance of people like yourself. Did a lot, and we also went into communities. We did it at the university, where we also ran speech crafts, even for the EP Boys Under 19. And because of the work that we'd done, we then submitted a portfolio for the Achievers Award for developmental, because Toastmasters is a developmental society in terms of its categorization within the university, from academic societies, political societies, religious societies, and of course developmental societies. And it fell within that category. In that particular category, in that year, we were the recipients of Developmental Society of the Year.
Okay, because that is, of course, key. The whole thing with Toastmasters, it empowers not only as a speaker, but as a leader.
As a leader,
You become
yes.
a leader. You actually hone all those skills. That's what Toastmasters does for you. But now a further achievement, just the other night, you won, or the day, it was during the day, right? It was Saturday. It was a contest.
Yes.
And it was your club contest that you belong to right now, and you won. Tell us about that, because quite a lot of preparation goes into winning, or even being in a competition, and then you win. It's the cherry on top.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, speaking isn't just random. I think most people think you open your mouth and you blab. But there's a lot that goes behind it. Firstly, from a position of what to say. Will I be humorous? Will I be serious? Will I blend the two? Will I be emotional? It just depends. I think I'm just going to take stock of Gerald's words, that a goal needs to be part of who you are. So it needs to be organic. It can't be forced, otherwise the crowd will suss that out. And your speech won't have impact potential. So speaking goes beyond that, and I think I was fortunate enough to win the club contest. I belong to a club called ACT Toastmasters. And just in terms of the preparation that went behind that, it really was quite fascinating, because I really think that I've overdone certain things, and I'm not a multifaceted person.
We all do.
I'm one-dimensional, so I had to find a unique way to be humorous. But even in terms of how I construct my speech, it had to have a logical flow of ideas, and it had to keep people intrigued for the period in which my speech was. Obviously, like you say, winning it was a big thing for me, because there are quite some competent, eloquent, and very impactful speakers at the club.
And
the bar has really
people
raised.
who spoke, it was a very close call.
Yeah.
You won, and I always say one can win, and all the others just, are runners up, because only one can win.
Yeah.
But you spoke about your son, and it's always a very good idea to speak about something that you know very well. And that's a key thing that people can remember about when you're preparing for your speech. And Gerald, just coming back to you, because you were also a speaker and you were a runner-up in the final.
Yeah.
You were almost, so you're probably going through. We'll just see about how things go. It's a maybe, because it depends how many of the other clubs, the numbers of the winners, whether one person can go through or whether two people can go through, or whether three people can go through from a club. But you were in the top, so you also were a runner-up.
Yeah.
And you spoke about your mom.
Yes, so I came third. Initially, the contest would have been on the Thursday, so it was never my intention to be part of it, purely because my studies started. So when I had a chat with the president and she said they're moving it to the Saturday, I thought, because one other gentleman that was also going to speak moved to Johannesburg. So I thought, let me also weigh in. I promise you, I never knew that it was this stressful. The Thursday I was okay, the Friday I was okay. Saturday morning, like when everyone was online, I don't know what happened. You could literally feel the tension, and it's not the same people in a Thursday meeting. Everyone is just so serious.
Different kettle of fish.
And I must say, it was a very exciting experience. And again, as Amandla is saying, that it's not just about speaking, because you realize there, when you're busy delivering your contest speech, it's a complete different ball game than just a normal project on a Thursday evening when we have Toastmasters.
Absolutely. And of course, I know you actually from Utenhage because we've been trying to charter a club
That's
at
correct.
Utenhage.
The Garden
and
Town,
of course,
yes.
we want to charter new clubs because we want to encourage people, don't we? And,
Yes.
and I mean, here we are 3 Toastmasters, and we want people to find their inner leader.
Yep.
We want yes, it is about teaching them how to speak in front of a group with confidence. That all goes with it. We are the support around them, and we want them to become the support for others and for young people, especially. There is nothing like that Toastmasters qualification or whatever you want, wherever you are at, Toastmasters on your
Yes.
CV.
Yeah.
On your CV. People take note of it. And of course, Toastmasters offers this unique, adaptable program, and it's unique for your personality.
Yes.
No matter who you are and what your passion is. I also say, I said to my husband, you know, this is probably the one we should underline is don't let COVID rob you, because it's a unique online opportunity for some, because some clubs are now going to start virtually. Maybe one day, if they've got 2 meetings in a month, then they have one virtual, one online. Others won't go back to actual. They want to just stay virtual.
Yeah.
And there are clubs starting, you know, to be virtual.
Yeah.
To be virtual club. And of course there is one like that is starting, and I must just say, because I'm involved in the chartering of this club, or we're doing our best to charter, but you're never too old to learn. I am 75. I am still excited about Toastmasters and what one can learn. I'm learning new things, and I'm learning from you young guys every day. And the whole public speaking, leadership, confidence, management package that goes in it. Now, Universal Speakers Toastmasters, it's going to just be great. So tell all your friends. I want to just tell you, we're having Zoom meetings. It's happening. We're getting people together. We 4 very enthusiastic people. I'm the only one from Port Elizabeth, but we are chartering this club ASAP before June, if we can. So you're all going to help me, of course. If you hear of people who want to just be online, you know, they don't have time. Who knows what keeps them from going to actual meetings?
Yeah.
And Universal Speakers, Toastmasters, you know, they've had their open house meetings, been inviting, and it's really going well. So this is just my little bit of bragging here. What I want to also ask is your passion for public speaking. Now, you didn't wake up one morning, because at school we never heard really about public speaking, did we? Or about learning about public speaking. Where did it begin for you? What made you actually join Toastmasters? Because you were already on a path, and you were probably your book was already your dream.
Yes, and the other projects to come as well.
Yeah.
So with regards to Toastmasters and public speaking, I think it started from a very young age, where you always have an opinion, and it's not always well received in your family, because you're told to shush or keep quiet, especially if you're a bit controversial. Starting to work at Volkswagen in the automotive sector, there was a lot of opportunities to represent the workers.
And is that why you went to live in Utenhage?
No.
Or did you live in Did you go to work for Volkswagen because you live in Utenhage?
No, I born and bred in Utenhage, and I stayed in PE for about 6 years, and then I moved back that side when my dad got sick. But working at Volkswagen, having the opportunity to be peer educator and just representing the employees in terms of wellness, I could see that there's a greater desire to have an impact, to be influential, and through that process realize the need to not just, as Amandla mentioned earlier, blab, but to say the right things at the right time. And through the training and development at Volkswagen, you learn a lot of things, but it never seems enough. And I think when I started visiting Toastmasters, also the issue of time, because back then it was the Saturday mornings, started visiting, and I realized that there's something different, just the way in how they navigate your learning. Firstly, the fact that it's self-paced, and secondly, the content. It's amazing. The fact that you get feedback and evaluation to just reconstruct your thoughts. So for me, it was based on a need, basically, how I ended up at Toastmasters, seeing that there's certain gaps in my personal development when it comes to speaking. And the path I chose, just so by the way, visionary communication, because I think about a lot of things and I would run ahead and get it done without telling the people that's involved. So they would just have to jump on the bandwagon. And I could see a lot of people around me was frustrated, especially my wife, because I would tell about the bridge that we're building to the moon when I'm halfway building the bridge. So visionary communication really taught me to think through the process, make sure that you set up a communication plan and involve those around you, because your success then becomes so much greater and rich.
Because sometimes when you do the leap, it's a bit premature.
Yes.
Yeah. And she, of course, said to you, couldn't you have told me?
No, and I think for us, like, hang on, do we have to do it now? Why are we doing it now? And a lot of times we don't want our intentions to be questioned.
Yeah.
That's why you think I'm not going to communicate. But I've realized in most cases that questioning also provides a sense of sanity in the process as well.
Yeah, indeed, and thank goodness he's got a very sane wife. She keeps him in...
There has to be one.
There has to be one. She keeps him in toom, like they say in Afrikaans. Yeah. And now yours, Amandla, when I met you, of course you were studying at UPE, MMU rather, and you also got involved then in more business-oriented courses. What did you actually study?
I started studying BCom marketing, and then I told my parents I actually wanted to change and do law.
Did you switch to law?
Yeah, they didn't take too kindly to that, but I'm a very forceful person. I like getting my way, so I was highly persistent, and I eventually changed over to law, which obviously and honestly was the best decision of my life. And that for me has been a bliss ever since.
Yeah, and what direction in law are you pursuing?
I want to do my master's in maritime law.
Okay, maritime law.
It's become quite a popular topic in South Africa.
What does it entail?
Law of the sea.
Yes, I gather that.
There's a German, for instance, in South Africa, there's a German company that's invested about 50 million in the university, in the Ocean Science campus. So they take old military veterans and they train them to become what they call fish police. So they call the fish force, to guard the coastline against foreign nationals coming in, dumping their sails and picking up a lot of tuna. So we deal with the regulation, for instance, public international law. You know, where do the borders end? Where above sea level? Because those regulations have been changed, those policies have been amended. And just in terms of maritime in general, you know, regulating ships coming in, the policy structures behind the sea. Like, case in point, one of the biggest maritime cases that have been around, the BP oil spill, I think back in 2009. So you deal with cases like that and how it affects the sea, you know, what non-patrimonial damages they've caused and how BP is responsible for cleaning up those things. So there's a lot of things happening within the ocean, not only just from a policy perspective, but also from an economy, because the ocean's economy right now has opened up.
Yeah, and you know, like those things you see on TV from in other countries, you know, Australia and all those, all those police, those ocean police, you know, it's quite boring at times, but some people like to watch that. So, you know, but I mean, that is interesting because there's so much that's going on, never mind all the crime on the land, on the sea. It's also, but now you also are having to earn a living.
Yeah.
And you are working from home, you told me, and I'm sure you're working from home, Gerald, as well.
Yeah, I do go in some days.
Go in some days,
yeah.
but mostly people are working from home these days. So what do you offer? You also have got students, don't you?
Myself.
Yeah, yourself.
I do have students working with me. I'm not practicing.
Okay, you're not practicing.
Yeah, but I do have students working with me. We started a business called The Black Brand.
Yes.
So we do strategic brand outcomes just in terms of how people can be able to navigate certain, let's say, strategic conversations, like event management.
So it comes back to being public speaking, being one of it.
To a large extent,
Yes.
yes. Say, for instance, one of our clients, MTN, comes up to us and says, hey, we've got an enterprise business unit, but we don't know what we're going to construct in terms of creating the bridge between our incubatees and the program that we have, or we don't know how to engage internally. And then we'll do more research in terms of how the program is structured. MTN's maybe say 10-year plan in the Eastern Cape. What outcomes are necessary for small businesses in order for them to be able to succeed post incubation? And then we'll have an event structured on that. So it's more towards strategic conversations that are, because you find most events are watered down versions of what they should be, and the only highlight is a significant figure that they bring into the event.
Sure.
So they'll bring a celebrity, or they'll bring someone. And truthfully, the content is more watered down because there are so few events that leave you with that wow
factor, yes.
That months after it, you still left and it's ringing in your head. So that's the trajectory that we essentially want to change for South African businesses.
Okay, so both of you, although you are having to earn a living, so you've got to make your business work, you are also studying. I mean, you working on your masters, you just starting a whole new adventure with the new studies.
That's correct.
Which we won't go into just shortly in one sentence. What does that entail?
It's the advanced diploma in TVET colleges, so it gives you the
It's
opportunity
big.
then to get involved in that space from an educational perspective and curriculum development.
So you guys are really going places, and you're doing your day jobs at home or online, going into a office now and again, meeting with your people virtually, or actually, I don't know. It's so it's very versatile now, business and work and everything. But through it all, we're never going to stop being Toastmasters because Toastmasters has evolved also into a industry almost that, although it's a non-profit, and it's the most amazing thing that Smedley did many years ago, and it's ongoing. So if people want to join Toastmasters, please contact me. I am Mariana Lourens. Our time is up and we have to say goodbye, but you can contact me on 083 657 0113. 083 657 0113 if you want to know more about Toastmasters. I can also put you in contact with these two gentlemen here. Thank you so much, Amanda. Keep going, my child. And Gerald, aanhouer wen, my kind.
Baie dankie.
Aanhouer wen. Time for me, Mariana Lourens, and Art and Entertainment to say goodbye now. Ja, Mariana Lourens en kuns en vermaak wat groet met Arrivari.